All right, Shalom Akim, Shalom, Shalom, Tawab like La. All right, that's peace. Good evening. This is your brother Zakar Ya'Allah, branched out here in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Come with another lesson through the Spirit. The Lord willing, let's be edifying to the Lord's elect. All right, and before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem Yahawadah. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and who teach well. Shalom to the Akim out there that's pushing the truth, that's laboring in the word, and that's pushing the gospel of the great kingdom that's going to come. Shalom to the Akwath that's listening in, that's remaining true to the faith and remaining faithful and submissive to their husbands and guiding their children. And shalom to the hopeful elect of the 12 tribes that scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. You Israelite foreigners out there, all right, who live among the heathen and who look like those heathen nations, but your lineage goes back to the progenitors of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel from the line of your fathers. I want to say peace and blessings to you all. Barakatham. All right. So we're going to get into these, into a couple videos here. And I want to try and read this, this article that I got queued up. Slack. Salaki. So yeah, I want to try and get in these videos and hit this article. Lord willing, let's be edifying. So let's get this started here with a video from Arrows of Indignation 144. All right, dire warning from Port of Los Angeles. All right, executive major shortages are coming. All right, so let's listen in.
Just describe for us, let's take a beat, really frame it for us, how much volume has just dropped off in the last few weeks?
Yeah, about a third of the import volume, which means give or take about 50,000 20-foot equivalent units gone off the arrivals coming in next week.
So from next week is when you expect to see this really hit?
That's correct, and that matches up. The announcement's back on April 2nd, then on April 8th, a little bit of a change on everybody, ex-China, Mexico, Canada, and those arrivals are coming at us this weekend.
We'll, of course, dedicate time to your port, but I'm just wondering how you're anticipating this rolls and ripples through the economy from here, how it hits trucking, when this turns up on the shelf. What's the distance, the time from when you see a drop-off in volume and when we, as consumers, see the shortages?
Right, so CEOs are telling me, hit the pause button, right? I'm not going to import anymore at these kind of prices. Let's wait and see. I don't know if it's going to be 2 hours, 2 days, or 2 weeks till I get some clarity. Then, hiring. Off the table for right now. Capital investment, pause. And the retailers are telling me that realistically, with even the 10%, I'm going to have to pass it on to the consumers.
So how much is this really coming from all over? It's not just about China. This is about really global trade coming to a standstill until there is a much greater degree of certainty and a much lower tariff rate than even the baseline that's been put out there.
Yeah, when I was last with you all, Lisa, I said global trade's going to slow, economies will follow, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Back in November, so many of us were wringing our hands about 4% inflation. We've just added 10 percentage points to imports coming out of Southeast Asia for our port, and these unbelievable numbers out of China.
How much are you going to see a real decline in dock workers if this goes on?
Yeah, this is the question. So the trucker hauling 4 or 5 containers today, next week, she probably hauls 2 or 3. The dock workers are no longer going to see overtime and double shifts. They're going to probably work less than a traditional work week, starting right off the bat. Every 4 containers mean a job. So when we start dialing this back, it's less job opportunities.
And what happens if we get a deal?
If we get a deal, it's going to take about a month. Let me walk you through that real quick. About 2 weeks to get the ships repositioned around these major ports, from Qingdao to Shanghai to Xiamen, load up all those containers, and then another 2 weeks to steam across the Pacific to get to us. This is important because now we're talking about spring and summer fashion. So we're kind of at a crux here that we've got to have something pretty quick.
And back to school, which is, I think, very critical when it comes to political pushback for this administration. We have a story out, it was anecdotal reporting as well. We've heard about China quietly starting to exempt about a quarter of U.S. imports. Are any U.S. importers exempting Chinese tariffs? Is there a way to get around the 145%?
Not really. There may be some exceptions, Anne-Marie, maybe a little bit going north or south of us, but realistically speaking, nobody is out there talking a lot about, hey, I got a better deal coming out of China right now.
The Flexport CEO joined us earlier in the week, and he said ocean freight is down 60% from China. When do we see 100%?
Good question. It depends on how long this goes. We heard the reports overnight through Bloomberg that the folks in China are thinking about talking. What does that mean? Okay, great, but we've got to get a move on here. The other thing is that retailers are saying we've got about 5 to 7 weeks of normal inventory in the country right now. Then we start to see spot shortages if it goes on much beyond this.
All right. All right. So as you can surmise, this is heading for a disaster. All right, because as the executive here, let's go back to him. All right, as the executive had explained, is that, you know, he simplified the fact that it takes roughly a month. It takes roughly a month to get these ports moving again. You see what I'm saying? And that's using a hypothetical, right? Because the lady said, you know, what if there's a deal that's struck? You see what I'm saying? What if there's a deal that's struck? And that's the hypothetical. Well, you know, to put it in perspective, if a deal was struck at this very moment, then that means that everybody gets on the comms, you know what I'm saying? Everybody gets on the phone, makes the call, and gets the ports, you know what I'm saying, ready to be active. All right, all these freights and all the goods have to start being transported and moved. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's going to take a process. And that process, like he said, is going to take roughly a month, because when you range in the fact that it will take about a couple weeks, you know what I'm saying, to get from point A to point B, okay, and then to go from point B back to point A. You see what I'm saying? So I asked I asked ChatGPT, and I wanted to see how long would it take for freight to make it to China, from China to the US. And ChatGPT says the time it takes for freight to travel from China to the US depends on the mode of transport and the destination. But here are some general estimates. From ocean freight, which is the most common for bulk goods, all right, traveling through the ocean, to get to the West Coast ports, such as Los Angeles, Long Beach, and Seattle, you know what I'm saying, would take roughly 15 to 20 days. All right, from 15 to 20 days. If you was to go from Shanghai, well, not Shanghai, but yeah, I think it was like from Shanghai and some other ports, you know what I'm saying, if you was to come from China on those ports to get to the East Coast instead of the West Coast, well, then it jumps even higher. Instead of 15 to 20 days, expect 25 to 35 days. All right, that's including the Panama Canal transit, also the Suez transit. You see what I'm saying? And then on top of that, you have to add another 5 to 10 days. Why? Because in order to get these goods moving to begin with, you have to have certain custom clearances. You have to have inland transportation, right? So for the goods to make it to the ports in Shanghai, they got to be transported to those ports, and then they got to get those clearances. Well, to get those clearances could take roughly, I don't know, 3 to 5 days. You know what I'm saying, to get the ports, or it's like to get the goods transported from, you know, this company or that company over to the ports would take roughly 5 to 10 days. You know, so add all of that with the transportation of roughly 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks. All right. Because 2 weeks is what, 14 days. So you add 15 to 20. That's over 2 weeks, man. Just about 3 weeks. Okay. So do that back and forth. That's over a month. All right. So when you see certain things, he mentioned school supplies, he mentioned you know, summer fashion and all that stuff, man. in actuality, when you see these goods on the shelves for summer fashion, for winter supplies and winter toys and all that shit, man, you get all those things coming in. All right, those calls were made months in advance. You see what I'm saying? Those calls were made months in advance in order to make it to you by winter's end. You see what I'm saying? And that's just putting in for, let's say some shit like Christmas decorations. All right? Things of that nature. You see what I'm saying? And they have to account for the amount of weeks that it would take in order to make its way to the US. You see what I'm saying? So let's get another video real quick.
Hey, I'm gonna say this. Hey, it's finna get real out here real quick. Trump done fucked us with a big one. You hear me? A big one. He fucked us with a big one. Man, it ain't no freight like that going in and out these ports, man. On the cargo ships, man. And some of these containers coming in empty. Empty. Freight is finna be thin as hell out here. If you a truck driver, owner, operator, man, y'all taking this necessary precautions y'all need to take. Man, I have never been in and out of a port that quick within 30 minutes. Normally, this shit take hours. The lines be long as hell. There was nobody in there. Nobody. At least, when I went in there, it was at least 3 or 4 trucks there. Like, man, I don't know what to tell y'all on this. China ain't playing no games with us, but they standing on business. China standing on business. Woo-wee. And the freight is about to be thin for us, man. To all the truckers, man. Not only the truckers, but everybody, man, y'all better. I know what steps I need to take as a truck driver. I already know what I need to do. I already know what I need to do. I'm finna stock up on shit, because I already know what it's finna be out here. When them ships could bring in empty containers, empty. Man, it ain't a game no more. Man, then some of these jobs ain't shipping out shit because of the tariffs. Batteries, like, and if you drive with, if you deliver or pick up batteries, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, it's finna be a mess. It's finna be a mess. But y'all stay safe. But do what y'all need to do, because I'm about to do what I need to do. For real.
Right? Jake understand, man. He see what's going on. You see what I'm saying? You see what's going on. One of the things that the CEO or the executive, you know what I'm saying, whatever his position is, he was explaining. All right, he was explaining the lack of jobs as a result of all this. You see what I'm saying? Because when there's no freight that's being moved, there's no need for all these workers. All right, there's no need for none of these workers, man. Okay, that's going to cause massive unemployment. You see what I'm saying? Layoffs after layoffs after layoffs. Okay, let's go to Zephaniah chapter 1 and verse 10. It reads, "And it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahawah, that there shall be a noise of a cry from the fish gate, and an howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills." All right. So when you talk about the fish gate, it's going into the markets. All right, it's going into the markets, man. When there's no supplies on the shelves, no food, no nothing like that. You see what I'm saying? All right. We're going to see a great cry in the fish gate, man. We're going to see these markets, all right, go through some hell. Okay? And the economy will crash. This economy will crash. You know what I'm saying? Ecclesiastes chapter 12, starting at the top, it says, "Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth." This is where the prophets come in. All right? This is where the prophets come in. For all these things that you see happening around you, okay? And it's not getting no better. But the prophets was here to warn you of these things, man. It says in Isaiah chapter 42, verse 9, before they spring forth, I tell you of them. And how does the Lord tell you of these things? Through his men, through the prophets. You see what I'm saying? We was here to tell you this thing before it happens. All right? And now it's here. Now it's here. You see what I'm saying? It says, remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw nigh, when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. You see what I'm saying? You're supposed to turn to the Lord before all hell breaks loose. You see what I'm saying? This is what the prophets are here to warn you about. All right? And to persuade those, man, to convince the gainsayers, man. Verse 2, while the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, and the clouds return after the rain, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong man shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened, man. When it's talking about the grinders ceasing, it's talking about work. It's talking about work. There will be no more work, man. You see what I'm saying? No more jobs. Right? Because they are few. It's going to be few jobs. Few opportunities. You see? And those that look out of the windows be darkened, man. People are already in heavy depression. People are already looking out, having a dark outlook for the future. You see what I'm saying? And rightfully so, man, because this place is out of here. Let's go to Isaiah. All right. Let's see, Isaiah chapter 19. Isaiah chapter 19, verse 15. It reads, neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. All right. So this is only a recipe for disaster, man. So let me get that article that I mentioned real quick. All right. This is from endtimeheadlines.org. It says CEO warns of cataclysmic event that will impact America's businesses. Many individuals remain unaware of the intricate processes that govern the movement of goods across the globe. However, a few years back, the world's attention was suddenly drawn to supply chain logistics when a colossal container ship became lodged in the Suez Canal. This incident provided a unique opportunity for Ryan Peterson, the founder and CEO of Flexport, a company dedicated to facilitating the transportation of a wide array of products from their points of manufacture to their eventual markets. With a deep understanding of logistics and trade, Peterson seized the moment to demystify the situation for the public. Once the ship was freed, he published a whimsical yet educational children's picture book titled The Big Ship and the Little Digger, which translated the complexities of ocean freight and global trade into simple, accessible language that resonated with younger audiences and their parents alike. Currently, Peterson is once again stepping into the spotlight. All right, this time to address the significant concerns surrounding U.S. tariffs on Chinese imports. He warns that these hefty tariffs could spell disaster for America's small businesses, likening the potential fallout to a cataclysmic event, an extinction-level asteroid wiping out the dinosaurs kind of event, emphasizing that unlike the dinosaurs, these are vibrant, growing businesses that will be deeply affected. All right. And just like you saw, just like you saw with the situation in 2020, right? That affected the globe. What happened to these mom and pop businesses, man? What happened to those small businesses? They died out. Many of them died out. And all these big corporations got more and more money. It was essentially a transfer of wealth. You know what I'm saying? Continuing on, it says Peterson's insights are grounded in his first-hand experience with the many small companies that rely on Flexport's services to transport their products from factories to consumers' doorsteps. Flexport manages an extensive array of logistics operations, including securing transport space for various carriers, whether they be planes, trucks, or massive cargo ships, and definitely handling the extensive paperwork involved in international shipping. All right. With the help of an advanced technology platform, Peterson has acquired a unique vantage point within the global economy, providing him with a real-time overview of trade dynamics. All right. Jumping down, it says his perspective on the current trade climate is alarming. He asserts that if the tariffs on Chinese goods remain at their current levels, thousands of American businesses risk collapse, a crashing in the hills, remember? It says, which could lead to the loss of millions of jobs. The grinders cease. Okay? Despite President Trump's assurances that the current 145% tariffs on Chinese imports will decrease significantly, uncertainty looms heavily over these companies, resulting in a state of paralysis that could soon escalate into devastation. All right? Because the thing is, a lot of these companies, they're not going to make a move until they're certain that these tariffs are gone, man. You know what I'm saying? Because like the executive has said, you know, yeah, that everyone's talking. Okay, this and that. What does that mean? That's great, but we got to get a move on. Okay? We got to get a move on, man, because all these other companies, you know, right, they want to play it safe, man, because the wrong move could cost them millions to billions. You see? So, understanding the gravity of the situation, Peterson has taken it upon himself to advocate for the interests of small businesses affected by those tariffs. All right, so, all right, that's pretty much it. But you know, the writing's on the wall. The writing is on the wall, Salaki, and you know, this only ends with a devastated economy, man. But you have to understand, this is what these Amalekites ultimately what they want. All right, they have to bring in this new system. All right, they want a reset, and in order to get that, you have to destroy what's already in place. You have to break down what's already established. Okay? This is why you see Doge going in and just firing this department, that department. You know what I'm saying? A whole reset is happening right in front of people's eyes. Okay? We have to destroy the markets in order to rebuild it into this centralized hub, you know what I'm saying, that controls, you know, all the infrastructure. All right, the beast system is being established right here, man. Okay, and all roads lead to the MOTB, written of in Revelation chapter 13, verse 16 on down. You see what I'm saying? So that's pretty much it, man. I didn't want to make this too long, but I pray this was edifying and straight to the point. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be a major crash, man, and this is going to affect every facet of society. You see what I'm saying? When you think about the type of goods that America relies on when it comes to China. You see what I'm saying? Think about it. Think about the pharmaceuticals. All right? Think about the pharmaceuticals, man. Think about all these different things that America relies on, man. Let me show you something real quick. All right? This is from Apollo Academy. Okay? Let's check this out, man. These are some of the things that we get from China that America is heavily dependent upon. 95% of pharmaceutical drugs from China, ibuprofen, all right, ibuprofen, that's 95%. Okay, so you're talking about your antibiotics, okay? Talk about your painkillers, you know what I'm saying? Hydrocortisone, you know what I'm saying? 91%. Acetaminophen, that's 70%. Penicillin, 45%, man. These are, you know, these are things that you need, man. All right? These are things that these people need. You see? And if that's not on the shelf, all right, it's only a matter of time before these people lose their shit, man. Because remember, it takes weeks for these things to get to the shelves, man. Now, the CEO, all right, or the executive, I keep calling him CEO, but the executive says that the retailers are telling him, you know what I'm saying, let's be it Target or Walmart, so on and so forth, right? They're telling him that we've got roughly 5 to 7 weeks worth of stock. But after that, it's over. You see what I'm saying? Now, let's say that this information reaches the public and the public start panicking. What do? They start to buy the things that they need before they all go off the shelves. Well, if that panic buying starts happening, well, that 5 to 7 weeks starts to dwindle. And it'll go down to like maybe, 3 weeks of supplies? You see what I'm saying? And you remember how it was during the pandemic, where everybody had signs everywhere talking about you can only take such and such amount of food, such and such amount of this item, such and such amount of this bottled water. You see? Such and such of this amount of toilet tissue. Okay? So this could spiral out of control very quickly. All right? But I'm going to cut that there, man. I pray this lesson was edifying to the elect of the nation of Israel. This has been your brother Zakaria Allah, branched out here in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. In closing, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahawah Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem Yahawadah. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and who teach well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Shalom.